Hi everyone, welcome to V Sattui's Wine of the Month Club cooking video for October. Today we'll be making a savory pumpkin tart. We'll be pairing that with a 2021 Boonville Ranch Pinot Noir, and it's from Anderson Valley. Let's give it a taste. Getting notes of strawberry. Definitely some nice warm spices. And you can really get the nice kind of oak character about this. Oh, it's gonna go great. Let's get cooking. Cheers. First thing we're gonna do, one pumpkin. So we got this one from the store. This one's sitting around 10 pounds. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the stem. Let's get it started. All right, coming in. Working methodically and carefully. Nice firm grip on the knife at all times. We're just going to work the top part as we destem, just like you're carving a jack-o'-lantern. Just take your time and work smoothly and confidently. Nice. So from here, we're just going to trace the actual contour of the pumpkin and follow its actual lines until we get a nice, beautiful piece. This will pretty much get us there. All right. Nice clean wedge. Set this aside for now. Okay, so we have our nice wedge. We're gonna take a spoon and we're just gonna scrape and just clean this up just a little bit until we're just left with the flesh and it's nice and meaty. So from here, we're going to take our wedge, we'll take our knife, we're gonna start from the center, pop it off. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just very carefully and very consistently, we're gonna make nice thin slices of the pumpkin, right? And what we're looking for here is about 1/8 of an inch. This way we get the shape of the pumpkin so that when we see it in the tart, it's gonna look discernible and people will know what they're eating. All right, now we got our pumpkin slices. Gorgeous. We're gonna go ahead and blanch all these off real fast. All right, so we got our pot of hot water boiling here. We're gonna go ahead and we've already salted it. We're gonna dump our pumpkin in and we're gonna let it go for about 2.5 minutes roughly. You can do this in batches or you can do it all at once. It's gonna take a little bit longer if you shock it, but it makes it easier. So what we're looking for is translucency in our pumpkin. We want a nice little al dente. We have a bowl of ice here for shocking and stopping our cooking process. This process is called blanching. All right, so we have our cooked pumpkin. You can tell because you have a nice translucency to it. You can also tell by just taking a little piece and just breaking it. If it breaks nice and easy, that's perfect. That's right where we want it. Carefully pull, plunge into our ice bath, and we're just gonna stop and halt that cooking process. On to the ricotta filling. So what we've done earlier is we took 2 cups of raw onion and we sweated it until we had a nice caramelization. So I just wanted to show you the spectrum of what we're going from. This is lightly sweated, AKA the onion has basically given up a lot of its water and it's been now softened. We're looking at translucency after a light seasoning with salt. From here, we're gonna go to a little more caramelized. We're about halfway there. Finally, we're entering in caramelized sugar territory where the Maillard effect's taking place and we're getting a nice deep caramelization to the actual onion itself. And then finally, our end goal, which is a very deep amber, almost Coca-Cola kind of color, just to give us a nice deep flavor and to accentuate and bring out the best of the onion. We want that natural little sweetness to kind of tie into our wine and kind of balance out what we're doing here. On to the ricotta filling. We're gonna take 1 cup ricotta. Beautiful. Pinch of salt, just a taste. We're gonna add a pinch of pepper, give it a little flavor. From there, we're gonna add some chili flake, about a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm using some Aleppo chili here. You could use regular chili flake or whatever chili you prefer. Rosemary, 1/2 tablespoon. 1/2 tablespoon of sage, freshly chopped. And we're gonna add a nice full tablespoon of fresh English thyme. Add our caramelized onion. About a tablespoon of Meyer lemon zest that we just roughly chopped, just to kind of break it up a little finer after throwing through a microplane. And then we're just going to nicely mix it up so we get a nice, even, homogenized product. This smells absolutely incredible right now. Beautiful. So nice, even, homogenized, ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and throw it into a pastry bag so that we can evenly pipe it. You can also just use a spoon and your finger to evenly ladle across our tart as well, if you don't have a pastry bag on hand. Ah, it smells like the holidays. All right. And we have our lovely pastry bag filled, ready to go. We're gonna set this aside, reserved for later. So we have ourselves some pre-made, pre-bought pie dough. No shame in that. Saves us a step. We're gonna go ahead and dust our surface that we're gonna be working off of with a little light all-purpose flour. That's just gonna prevent stickage and make sure that we can lift our dough up. So we're gonna unfurl. Again. So we have a nice round disc, lightly dusted. Go again, flip. Just make sure that we're not gonna get any stickage. Okay. From here, take a rolling pin, dust it, and we're just going to roll it lengthwise. So this is gonna do two things. One, it's gonna stretch our dough quite literally, and two, it's gonna thin it out so we get a crispier crust. That's very crucial for our tart, so that it doesn't have to overbake in order to get it fully crispy. It's really just about 1/8 of an inch thick, and that's kind of ideal what we're looking for here. Okay, from here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take off the oblong, and we're gonna just turn it into a nice piece of dough. One more time, right about there. Gorgeous. All right, so now this will be our tart base. We have egg wash, which is just 2 beaten eggs and a splash of milk. You can use water, whatever you have on hand. I like to season mine with a little bit of salt too, just so you get a nice little seasoning flavor carrying throughout the whole thing. It's gonna do a few things. One, it's gonna glue our tart together, and two, it's gonna assist in browning when we put it into the oven. So first things first, we do a nice layer of egg wash on the bottom until we get the full sheet covered. Beautiful. All right. Nice egg wash. From here, we'll take our filling. And we'll cut a hole big enough for the onions to flow through. And we're gonna start from over here. And we're just gonna go about 4 inches by 4 inches roughly. Just enough to kind of give us a nice, beautiful layer. So if you don't have a pastry bag, you can just spoon it on relatively evenly. And we're gonna smear this with a spatula once we're done. All right. So we're gonna leave about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch gap on all sides. And that's just gonna help us fold the tart back on itself. So from here, take a spatula. You can use a rubber spatula or a little mini spat if you got one. Whatever you have on hand. And we're just gonna make sure that our filling is nice and uniform. And square. All right. Now that our filling is homogenized, we are going to carefully come in and we're gonna layer in our pumpkin. We have it blanched off, it's cooked. We're just gonna line it up and we're just gonna shingle it across, nice and evenly. And this is one of those dishes that you can bring over during the holidays that it just has that wow factor. How about one more? We'll do one more. Gorgeous. All right, so our tart's ready to be assembled. we're going to take the edge and we're just gonna kind of lightly pull it up just a little bit. That's just kind of loosen it up and give us a little slack to work with. And then from here, we're gonna fold it onto the pumpkin. And the pumpkin's gonna have little ridges that you can kind of just catch a little bit with the dough. Don't want to push too hard. You want it to tear through, ideally. If it does, not a problem. It will self-seal itself. Bringing it up. Like I said, if it tears just a little bit, it's just gonna kind of hold it in place while it bakes. It's gonna keep it nice and uniform. All right, and then we're gonna apply pressure down on this side, and that's gonna kind of help seal it. We're gonna go with a little bit of egg wash. Just kind of catch the side, catch the lip, catch the other side. So bringing it up, just so you can see. Bringing the flap up, keeping the inside closed, and then we're just gonna wrap around the sides, and then we're just gonna give it a nice little compression and make sure our egg wash has good connectivity on all sides. That's gonna seal up your tart, and that's gonna hold it tight together. We're gonna transfer it to our baking sheet, which we're gonna lightly flour. So just a light flouring. And this is just gonna make sure it doesn't stick. All right, from here, we're gonna just hit it with a little bit of egg wash just to finish it out. And we're just gonna get the sides. If a little bit falls to the bottom, not a big deal. But it's really just about getting some color here and getting a nice browning. Roughly 375 for approximately 25 to 30 minutes. Baking times may slightly vary. All right, into the oven. All right, we cooked this guy for 27 minutes at 375. We got some nice browning from that egg wash going on. We're gonna go ahead and pop it off. And we're gonna see how we did. Beautiful. All right, very carefully and supportively, we're gonna lift this to the board. Gorgeous. All right, we're ready to play, but before we do, we're gonna toss a quick little side salad. We're gonna do some lovely arugula. We're gonna toss that with a pumpkin seed oil that we have. You can source this off the internet or find it at your local market. If you don't have this on hand, any nut oil will work, or if you prefer just a good quality EVOO. What we're doing here is we're adding the layer, and we're gonna do about 1.5 tablespoons roughly of the oil. And we've got about 4 cups of arugula here. We're gonna hit a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and we have some Meyer lemon juice from the zested lemons that we had earlier, just to bring it some brightness and bring some color. Something to give that the contrast of the richness of the pumpkin tart and the butteriness. Something to build off of. All right, we're gonna taste, make sure that we're heading in the right direction. You don't taste your food, how do you know where you're at? Beautiful. From here, we're gonna do a nice little plouche, about 1.5 cups, or a cup. Nice little center. Something to give our tart something to sit on. With that, we're gonna hit some toasted pumpkin seed. Just gonna kind of go across the salad just to give it a little crunchy texture. Switch it up a little and double down on that pumpkin flavor. From here, we have a bread knife. And the reason why we want serrated is that rather than crush through our crust, we want to delicately saw. And that's just gonna give us a more beautiful presentation at the end. So coming through, look at that. Oh, beautiful. One more time. And I normally get about 4 slices per loaf. All right. Right in the center. Proud, beautiful. And we're gonna finish it. Just a whisper of salt. We got some chunky Maldon, great for presentation. Looks awesome across the tart. Beautiful. And there we have our savory pumpkin tart. Now for my favorite part, let's give it a taste. So the beauty of this dish is you get the richness of the pumpkin, you get the richness of the ricotta. The lemon is gonna make a nice little acidic bridge between the wine and the tart, in both the zest and in the juice in the salad. You get the nice mouth coat. Oh, and you get the nice fruitiness of the wine and the character. And then together, they just absolutely sing. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, bon appetit.